Hello ladies. Hopefully we're all okay. Hope you're all fit and well and that everybody's staying nice and safe. Right then, so today's session. So we're going to be just taking it nice and easy and just kind of a little bit more kind of on the, floor-based really, as opposed to doing all the chair work. But I'm saying that, if not being on the floor is good for you and you prefer to be on the chair, so I'm thinking maybe of sometimes it's Mary prefers to be on the chair, Joyce and Rita as well, if you prefer to be on the chair for any of these, or for any of the other ones in the group as well. If you want to be on the chair, then take a chair as an option. But sometimes it's just nice to kind of really feel connected and down towards the ground. Now, especially as well on week 8, and after hearing the speech that we had last night from Boris, we don't want to kind of like take a little bit of a downward spiral. We don't want to kind of fall down that rabbit hole. So just taking it nice and easy and just bringing ourselves back to just being really kind of completely grounded. I know I woke up and felt pretty kind of sluggish from it. So, we need to kind of snap ourselves out of that kind of talk that was going on, and we need to just kind of back off a little bit from that. We know what we need to do ourselves, so as long as you're just kind of being safe yourself, keeping yourself safe, then that's the best, I think, that we can do. So, saying that, you need your mats, you need a block just to sit on, just to get the length of your spine. And you'll need your belt as well, so a belt handy, and I think then we're ready to go. So if you want to just bring yourself just to a comfortable seated position. So you can either have the legs crossed, or if you want them straight out, then that's entirely up to yourself. Okay, so once we're there, just sit nice and tall to begin with, wriggle out a couple of times. It's nice just to have that little wriggle out. Sometimes when we feel that we're sat okay, and then after even just a few breaths, we feel that we need to kind of move again. So just kind of making any little adjustments, any little wriggle out that you need to do, just getting those out of the way. And then just take this time just to sit tall, just to roll the shoulders back, and just to settle into yourself. So just gently close the eyes. And just tuning in first just to how you actually feel. So it might just take a little bit of time just to allow the mind to settle, and also for the body just to feel comfortable, just being still for a moment. We're going to end up with lots of things going on during the week. Lots of things, just busying ourselves and just keeping moving and doing lots of things for others. So just taking this time now just to spend solely on working on yourself. And just bring your attention just onto your breathing. And just notice just how you're breathing. So a smooth, continuous breath, right from the beginning of the inhalation, right through to the end of that inhalation. And then when we come to the top of that breath, recognize there may be a slight pause before the exhalation kicks in. We follow it all the way through to the end of the exhalation. Right at the bottom, there's a pause before again we have that surge to lift and to move into the inhalation. So again, just taking that time just to fully to tune in just to how we feel. We're just going to take some time now just to kind of soothe the body and just to fully immerse ourselves just into how the body feels. And to just enabling the body just to release and to let go. Now, even if you have lots of people around or around you, so your time is divided up by different segments in the day, even if you find sitting down, kind of like to have a practice like this, it's just a little bit awkward. If you have any headphones, just pop the headphones on and just listen to my instruction and just feel as if you're, through your mind, just feel as if you're going through that practice. No, it's not always possible, just depending on the size of your room or if you have other people in the house just to take care of. So even popping the headphones on sometimes it's a little bit clearer for other people to see that you don't actually want to be disturbed. If that's not the case, if you're on your own and you have this time, then just enjoy the practice just for yourself. Just keeping those eyes closed and just bringing the palms together. So hands just softly meeting together, thumbs just pressing into the sternum, into the breastbone. And feel as if we're lifting that up towards the thumbs. So we're sat tall. And then soften it off. Just taking an exhalation. Allow yourself just to melt back into your seated position. Okay, just noticing the quality of your breathing. Noticing the movement through the belly or the rib cage. And just going along just with that subtleness of the movements of the body. We're just going to set our intention now. If you have a personal intention, then that's fine, just bringing it in. Otherwise, just have that intention just to spend this time just solely on yourself. Time for you. Time to rest, restore, and recover. And then bringing the thumbs up just to the space between the brow bone, just to the Ajna chakra, your intuitive center. So our center for wisdom. And taking the hands up over the crown. The intention is then out there. And drawing the hands back down again towards the heart center. And releasing the hands down onto the knees. So just start some gentle spirals round. Just think of that moving right from the belly. So just easing over from one side to the other. And forwards and back. Just gently moving. And just noticing how it affects every part of the body as you move. Just easing round. And then easing round in the opposite direction. So if you can, just close the eyes. Again, tune in just to how that actually feels in the body. Also how it makes you feel in the mind. When we slow our practice down, we can often come up with feelings of frustration and come into the mind. All these little things that start to come in, you want to rush it through. Just take this time, slow it down, thinking of the soothing and calming effect on the body. And we'll come back into the center. Again, sit nice and tall. And blinking the eyes open. I'm going to look back over your right shoulder. So just taking the right hand back and the left hand going across as we turn and we look round to the right side. Now making sure that we're not rigid enough, that we still feel the belly starting to expand and draw back in again as you're breathing. You maybe feel the rib cage moving, so we're not moving around harshly enough just to restrict that. Still feel that movement there. And slowly bring it back round. Again, sit tall, maybe have that little wriggle out so we feel back into our center, and then going over to the other side. Just gently taking the hands round. Feel the breathing, just gently moving. And then coming back round again. I'm going to take the right hand down. Left arm is coming up. Remember, I'm just mirror imaging you if you are watching. And just easing over. That long, soothing stretch out through the side of the body. And taking a moment there, just really feeling it. And when we breathe, feel that expanding into it. As we exhale, we feel a gentle drawing back in. And then coming back over. Bring yourselves back to upright and then hand going down and lifting up. And just easing into it. Again, if there's any little tight areas you really feel, take the focus of the breath to those parts. And moving back up again. You can just roll the shoulders. So coming up and forward and then easing back. And forward and easing back. And you can bring the elbows into that. And keeping the arms nice and soft. And just one more time, just up and then back. And then this time, just bringing the shoulders right up towards the ears. And exhaling, bringing them down. So see how long we can get the breath for. So we inhale, taking the shoulders up. And exhaling, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, coming down. And then just work just one more in your own time, just easing those shoulders up towards the ears. And then counting, just 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the way down. Okay, so if you need some time, just so you can do that one again. So if you're enjoying it, and see how far we can go with the breath just to ease the shoulders down. Make sure you're aware of how much you're hunching the shoulders up in the first place. Okay, so I'm just going to work with the shoulders a little bit more. So we're going to have the palms facing up and then start to roll the shoulders in, bringing the backs of the hands together. I'm starting to move my spine slightly, just pushing it back and then opening up, rolling the arms out and the chest is coming forward. So I'm exhaling, the back of the hands are coming in and the spine is pushing back. and then we inhale, and we start to come forward and through. It's taking us into a nice cat stretch just while we're sitting. And we just feel as if the whole spine is involved in that stretch. So as we go back, I'm tipping my pelvis back and my chin is in towards the chest. And then we come forward, rocking forward, tipping my pelvis forward, the chest is coming forward, the head is looking up. And just work a couple more. And then coming into the last one. Make it a nice big one, just open up. And then just back to sitting. And again, just have that little wriggle out. We can just start to feel that the body's starting to go with us a little bit more, starting to move. Now I'm going to take the legs out, just give them a gentle stretch out. So I can point the toes and then flex, and point and flex, point and flex. So you're just working into the ankles, and as you're doing the ankles, you can work into the wrists. Oh, you can hear that clicking in my right wrist. And we can go in the opposite direction. I wonder if anyone has been able to master the wrists going one way and the ankles going in the opposite direction. That's one to have maybe practiced during lockdown. Okay, so once we feel we're done, just give the knees a little bit of a rub. If you want to, give them a little bit of a shake out. Take the legs a little bit wider, roll the whole of the legs in and out. So feel that loosening off just right in the top in the hips. Okay, and then just bringing the legs back together. Now for this one, you may need an extra block or you may need a cushion. So just bring yourselves up as high as you want to come up. So we're going to come up and I'm going to take the legs over first of all, just to the right hand side. So bringing our legs and just folding them back and just going over to that side. So you can see that I'm feeling a little bit kind of wobbled over a little bit to one side. So if you have your block or your cushion, and it'll just work just to level you up a little bit. Okay, so the side which your feet have gone towards, we're going to turn to the opposite side to that. So I'm going to turn away. So in this instance, I'm turning to the left-hand side, looking back. Because remember, I'm mirror imaging you. So turning and looking back. Nice and comfortable with the breath. Remember, no strain with it. Keep it nice and easy. And then bring it back round. Okay. So I'm going to take the legs over now to the other side. So we can just come forward and then rock them over. And then again, sit back. Pop your block or your cushion in, just to get you sat up, propped up nice and level again. So the pelvis is level, so you don't want to be tipping to one side. That'll affect the spine as you twist round. So then we're going over, I'm going to my right hand side. So our hand goes back behind, and I turn and I look back. And you may notice it takes the twist up just a little bit higher up the spine on this one. And it also gives the hips a little bit of a workout as well. If you're struggling with the legs, don't worry, just go back into a nice gentle twist again. Or if you're on the chair, you can just kind of keep the legs over to one side and just focus more on the top half of the body. But it does give a little bit more of an internal rotation with one leg and an external rotation with the other. Okay, and then we'll come back to the centre. So I can move that block out of the way, and then I can sit myself forward again with my legs straight out in front. Okay, I'm going to just work on a loose version of that now. So I'm just going to take the block away completely. And we've done this before, so we're kind of a little bit skew with, but we're not going to worry about that too much because we're not going to sit fully upright. We're just going to turn over again, away from the legs, placing the hands down and just have a little bit more of a turn and looking back. So we're moving right away from the legs, just turning and looking back. Just another breath there. And then we can bring it back round. When we come back round, then we can just take the legs over. And again, once we're there, you'll see we're a little bit skewy, but that's fine because we're going to turn, placing the hands down, and then just turning. So again, we get this external rotation and an internal rotation of the other leg. And then bringing it back round. I'm going to bring the legs forward. So this time keep the legs in a crooked knee position. So from here, your hands can just go back, pressing down into the floor, fingertips or the hands flat. And it doesn't matter quite so much whether they're forward or whether they're back, whichever you prefer. Okay, so legs are out a little bit wider, and this time I'm just going to windscreen wipe the legs. So just going over and then over again to the side. Do feel as if you start to travel a little bit on the mat, so don't worry too much on that. If you've got space, you might as well use it. Okay, so legs are going over, so it's pretty much the same as where we've just been with our legs, but just keeping it a little bit more just mobile, just keeping it moving. So really start to get that open feeling across the hips. Okay, and then back to the center. So just bringing the legs in. Now, if you have the wall fairly close behind, or if you've got the edge of the sofa, then that's fine. You can just start to use that, so you can even press the head onto the wall or rest your shoulders back onto it. I'm just going to pull the legs back, and you're bringing the feet away from the floor. So feel as if the feet are pushing forward. Hands are holding on if you want to. Now you can either just pull up, lift yourself away a little bit from the wall or the sofa. So we're just balancing, so we're not resting at all onto anything. If you want the comfort of it there, then push yourself back into it a little bit. But feel as if you're trying to pull yourself up away from it. And once you're there, if you don't need the hands, arms can stretch out. If you feel you're able, you can lift one leg, then lift the other leg. Okay, and then bring the hands back in and holding back up and placing the feet back down. Whew. Okay, so I'm going to show you sideways on this time. So we'll lean back a little bit. You can lean back into the sofa or back into, so across your top of your back or even the back of the head into the wall. Pull yourself back, get the feet up off the floor. And draw back a little bit through your belly so you're not overworking the back. Then we can pull ourselves up away from the support, bringing the legs up. If you feel okay with it, we can bring the hands in. And then we can maybe lift one leg, lift the other leg. And holding back in, bring the legs in and placing the feet back down. So give the legs a little bit of a shake out. And then we're going to come over just onto our hands and knees. Okay, so from here, just making sure that the knees are underneath the hips and we have the wrists underneath the shoulders. So again, we're going to go back into a simple cat stretch. So if we just start from a neutral spine, so with the back quite flat, and then we can start to arch up. Feel as if you're pulling up from the small of your back, up towards the ceiling, tailbone tucking under, head tucking in. And then gently start to drop down. And we stick the bottom out and we lift the head. And then again, coming back up as you exhale. And inhale as we come back through. Exhale, pulling back up. And inhaling, pulling back through. Work a couple more. So just into your own time, remember to keep tuning into the breathing and see how we feel. And then just bring it back into a neutral spine. If it feels okay, keep the big toes together, take the knees out a little bit wider than the hips, sit the bottom back towards the heels, give the arms a little bit of a stretch forward and the forehead down. So we take one long, big, deep breath and exhale fully and completely. Inhale, just bringing yourselves back up onto your hands and knees again. Bring your knees back in. Okay, so again, nice flat back. Taking the right leg back, push the toes into the floor. And then start to lift the leg away. When we lift the leg, remember, no higher than the hips. Push out through the heel. Take a look at a spot on the floor. Take the opposite arm straight out in front. Now, if you can, lose the focus of that spot on the floor. Just notice how the body feels inside. If you're starting to shake in any part, just go back to checking kind of your setup. So the parts that are on the floor, make sure that they're fully pressing down into the floor. You're pulling up away from that and we're drawing back into the belly. We're not overstretching with the arm. Keep the shoulder pulling back towards the socket. And then placing the hand down, placing the leg down. Good. Okay, so on to the other side. So taking the leg back and then start to lift that leg. Remember, no higher than the hip. So we're drawing back through the belly, pressing down onto those lowest points, taking that opposite arm straight out in front. Good. And remember, your drishti, your focus point now goes more into how you're feeling inside. And then bringing that hand back in and bring the leg back in. Okay, sit back. So this time, if we can, the knees are staying together. Placing the head down onto the floor. Take a big, deep breath. And after the exhalation, just bring yourselves back up again. So knees again, still staying underneath the hips. Hands are going to go slightly further forward. Now this time we're going to start to do threading the needle. So we're going to start off with the right hand. So the right hand, it turns so the palm is facing up and it's going to slide in front of the chest, but along the floor and reach down onto as far as you can, bringing the shoulder down to the floor. And then we push to come back up again. So that was one side and then onto the left. So we slide along, bringing the shoulder down. Use the hand that's pressing down into the floor to help bring you back up again. Okay, so that's one on both sides. We're going to do 3 on each side. So this is our round 2. And round 3. Okay, and we're back onto our hands and knees. Again, sit the bottom back, keep the arms stretched this time and having the head down. And then from there, if we can come forward a little bit and start to take the weight a little bit more over the hands. And start to lower the hips down. Doesn't have to be right down, don't worry about it. And then bring yourselves back again. So if you can, just work a couple more times and each time just encouraging the hips to come that little bit further forward. So make sure we have the feet pressing down, we're drawing the belly back, even though the hips start to come through and the chest can start to lift. And then we pull back. So when you pull back, make sure that the belly is really drawing back. And even feel as if you're pulling back through the small of the back first. Now, even with the weight on the wrist, you may find that you want to get to here. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. Just take it to there. Only those that can dip the hips and roll the shoulders back and look up. Pulling back, squeeze back through the belly, right into the small of the back, pulling back. Okay, so we're going to do just a couple more. So we start to come forward. Again, if here is enough for you, then just wait there, that's fine. Otherwise, we dip down, we lift the chest, we look up, and it's head down, pull back through the belly, through the small of the back, then all the way back. Okay, and then we have one more. So we come forward, easing through, lifting up, and head down, pull back, and bottom all the way back. Okay, and if you're able to, you can maybe sit back just onto your heels. If that's not right for you, there's maybe some of you here right now, or even if you're in this position, that's fine. So if you can, for those that can, just sit back to your heels, take a breath. Okay, and then come forward. So we're just going to come forward onto our fronts this time. So laying all the way down to the floor. Shoot the legs back. Nice big stretch back. And then again, hands are just going to start to come. This time just level. Oh, sorry, we'll take them slightly further forward. So level with your face on this. Go as wide as your mat or even slightly wider. This is a little bit of a thinner mat, so I'm going to go slightly wider. Okay, so forehead is down onto the floor. My tops of my feet are pressing down and my pubic bone is pressing down. So almost kind of really feel that lengthening here and it presses down into the floor. So we can then take a big deep breath in, and as we breathe out, we're using the muscles in the back of the body to lift the chest. I'm not using my arms, just the muscles in the back of my body. And then releasing down. So just turn the head to one side, just relax completely. Okay, and then we'll go again. So forehead being down towards the floor, big deep breath in. And as we breathe out, we use those muscles just to lift. So lifting the back of the body, my legs are still pressing down, my pubic bone is pressing down. I'm not using my hands to press. And then releasing down. Once you release down, turn the head to the opposite side. Now I'm going to turn my head back around this way just so it'll sound a little bit clearer if I'm this way around to you. Okay, so again, just relax completely. Now this time when we come up, we'll have a little bit more assisting with the arms. So we initially use the back muscles and then see if we can come up that little bit further by pushing through the hands. Okay, so forehead is down to the floor. My hands are still level with my face. Tops of my feet are pressing down. And my legs are pressing down, pubic bone pressing down. Draw your belly back a little bit. If you still feel a little bit of tightness in the back, you don't feel as if you have to come up as high, and maybe take the legs out a little bit wider. Okay, so inhale first, then exhale. We start to lift, and then we can start to use those hands just to bring yourself up, only maybe coming up just a little way. It doesn't have to be all the way up. Those that are a bit more flexible, can always just press down, lift the chest. Remember, there's no competition in it. The only person you're kind of working with is yourself, hopefully. So make sure it just feels good and you're working for you. And then slowly back down. Again, turn your head to the opposite side to where it went before. Take a breath or two and notice how it feels at the bottom of the breath. Are we able just to release and to give just that little bit more, just a giving into releasing and letting go. Okay, those that can, you're going to bring your hands just a little bit lower. If up here we're level with the face felt enough, then that's fine, stay there, or you can take the arms straight out and just come up a little way, okay? But if you want to explore and see if you can come up that little bit further, then by all means draw your hands back a little bit and start to pull them in slightly closer. So forehead is down, big deep breath in, and then as you exhale, slowly start to lift. Use those muscles first, then we gently press down and we ease up. And once we're there, we keep the shoulders pulling down. Few deep breaths. Think of the sternum or the breastbone moving forward. And then coming all the way down. Okay, this time just let the hands come in front. So you can just rest the head just onto the hands. Just take a little wriggle out from side to side. Okay, so now to bring ourselves back up out of this, because we're going to have to get up and we're going to have to grab ourselves a belt. So the reason I didn't want you to kind of have your belt really nearby is because we need to kind of keep moving, getting up, getting down, getting up, getting down again. Okay, so hands are just coming in, work it. If you need the hands further forward, then that's fine. Draw back through your belly, and if you can, use your strength of your arms just to push yourself to get yourselves all the way back. Just take your time with it. Make sure that you are drawing back right into, trouble with a bit of hair there going over. So make sure that you're drawing back right into your belly to pull yourself back again, to fully support the spine. Okay, so once you're back and you've taken a couple of breaths, then just grab yourself for your belt. You're going to need a little loop in the belt, or actually take a little bit bigger loop. So we're going to be taking that around the foot, but it's not going to be right tight to the foot. Now from there, so I'll show you first. We're going to be lying down, and we're going to lie down on our left side. When we lie down on the left, really take a big stretch out, and then we prop ourselves up. Now bottom leg needs to be straight, and that top leg is going to have the belt on it. We can pull the leg in. You can either have it here, or we can take that leg up in the air. So if you can make your belt as long as it is to need it, so you can really pull it. So if you're a little bit more flexible, you may be able to get a little bit higher up the belt. So we don't want to kind of roll all the way back. So if I do that, we're not rolling back onto our bum. We need to be right onto the edge, right onto the hip. So we're up kind of on our side. So just take whatever blocks, whatever blankets and things you need just to pad yourself out. Now, what's also handy is if you take your blocks, place them behind you, it might just kind of keep you nicely propped up. So it means that you can't actually roll back then. So if you're near the wall, you could always have yourself nearer the wall, and that might be helpful. So when you are on your side, get a big stretch out with that lower arm. So you really feel as if right underneath on that whole of that side, the armpit skin is getting a stretch. So taking that arm away, and then you can bring it back so the head rests onto the hand. So we're sideways on, one foot stacked up on top of the other one. And then we're going to bring that top leg. You can rest it up if that's enough. If that feels far enough to go, then that's fine. We can work on opening up in the hip. Otherwise, we're going to take the belt, wrap it round onto the foot, grabbing hold, and then reaching that foot and that leg up towards the ceiling. So there's a lot of work that has got to be done on the leg, that's the lower leg. So we're holding that leg up. Oh, if you can hear a noise, it's the rain outside. Sounds great. All my plants are getting watered. Okay, so we're just holding that leg. Some of you might not have the leg up this high, and a lot of you will, so that's great. If you're not, then just have as much belt as you need to get that leg up. Okay, so just holding here, taking that nice stretch, really push out through the leg which is along the floor. Couple more breaths. Okay, and then we can just bring that leg back in. We can take it to there first. So it's like us doing a tree pose. And then we can stretch that leg out. Now, for you at home doing this, you can just roll yourself over and go over to the other side. So I'm going to change myself round so I'm still looking at the screen so you can see me clearly. Okay, so you have your belt handy. Now the arm that's along the floor, remember, stretches out fully. So we can take blocks, press them in up against you. So that arm, really stretch it, really reaching over towards something and then bringing that hand up. Both my feet are flexed to begin with. I have my belt with my loop and then I'm going to bring the leg in. So it can just come in to begin with, just as if it's resting on the leg. And that, remember, if that's far enough for you, then that's fine. Just keep it there. You're still working on opening up in that hip and taking the leg out to the side. We're in a very relaxed tree pose. If you want to go further with it, then we take that leg up, stretching it up, and holding on with the belt. So remember, we're not tipping right over. We need to be right onto our side. So it feels a little bit awkward, I know, kind of balancing on that side. And sometimes we need lots of padding. There's a fine line between lots of padding and too much padding that it hinders us and we'll rock about all over the place. So yeah, we'll all be kind of rocking about inside our own bodies now, inside our own minds in this one, holding it there. Okay, just a couple more breaths. And then we can bring that leg back in. So you can rest it down onto the leg for a moment. And then we can release and push that leg away. Okay, so then you can go over onto your back. Move my blocks out of the way for now. So right over onto our backs. So feet are just going out a little bit wider than your hips. Hands are just onto the belly. Now from here we can just start just to gently get that tilt going. Just rocking forwards and rocking back. Rocking forwards and rocking back. Now we're making a big conscious effort to kind of get that rocking action going. Then what we need to do is just really work to kind of soften that out. Now I'm going to just place a block behind my head, so if anybody wants that there. And then really kind of, that was to bring me up a bit so I can actually just see the screen a little bit. But if you need a block, place a block in. Now, just taking that little tilt, then we're going to start just to soften that out even more. So really gentle, really subtle movement, just easing forwards and back, and forwards and back. So it targets more just into the small of the back. Okay. And then keep the small of the back down to the floor. Bring your feet in a little bit closer together. So it's just edging into the floor. Take your right leg, draw that leg in, either holding the back of the leg or across your shin and squeeze that leg down. Remember, we don't want to pull up too high that it alters the pelvis. Make sure that the right pelvis, the right hip is pushing away. Squeezing that leg in. Draw back through your belly and then lift the head, bring it in towards the knee. And then releasing back down. And release the leg. So then onto the left side. So make sure you feel that you're rocked and you've got the small of the back edging back. And then we can start again to draw that left leg in. Take hold wherever feels right for you. Squeeze it in towards the body. Drawing back on the belly. And then lifting the head, bringing the forehead in towards the knee. And then releasing back down. And releasing the leg down. Okay, so we either repeat the same one again, or we can take the leg up towards the ceiling. So make sure that the small of the back is down. We start to draw the leg in. We're just going to squeeze it in. Then we exhale, we draw up. Now see if we can grab hold around the foot. If you're not at the foot, don't worry about it. Just holding anywhere along the leg is fine. If we can still manage, then we can maybe start to get that leg to go up towards the ceiling. If it's not working, just hold on anywhere along the leg just to work to kind of straighten that leg out. If you can reach the foot, really get so you can push the heel away. And then we can bend that leg back in again. And then releasing back down. Take a breath once you're down. And then the same for the other side. So make sure the small of the back is down. We draw that leg in. You take hold, squeezing down. Make sure the belly is drawing back. And then we exhale, we're lifting up. We can reach towards the foot or along the shin, whichever feels more appropriate. And then we can start to reach that leg up towards the foot up towards the ceiling. Remember, you can either hold anywhere along the leg or here. And then we can fold that leg back in, placing the foot down and placing the head down. So we take a breath once we're down. Now this time we're going to bring the leg in, and when the leg comes in, we kind of take one little squeeze in, we ease off, and then we pull it down more to the side of the body, so it kind of slides down by the side of the rib cage. And if we can, we're going to be kind of, once we've got that leg in, we change our hand position so it comes on the inside of the leg, outside of the foot. So let me show you the first. So we make sure that the small of the back is down. We're going to draw the leg in. We can squeeze it in and release a little bit. Next time it comes just to the outside, just by the rib cage. Then the hand comes in on the inside and it grabs hold of the foot. And we're going to take that foot up towards the ceiling. Okay, so let's all just do that one again together. So from the small of the back being down towards the floor, right leg first, draw the leg in, squeeze it in towards the chest. Then release. Then take it off a little bit to the side so we can squeeze it down. Then we're going to change. So we have the hand, same arm as leg, bring it in on the inside and take hold of the outside of the foot. And then we can squeeze it down that little bit more. But we turn so the sole of the foot looks up towards the ceiling. So this hand, this left hand, isn't doing anything. Right hand is just working to draw down, and we're getting right into the hips. So remember here, you can just close your eyes. Now the breathing to be smooth, calm, relaxed. soothing any worries away. And then we can release that leg. Let the leg just shoot up towards the ceiling first. And you can either bend the leg to bring it down, or if you feel okay, then it's a straight leg coming down. And bring the leg back in. Okay, same again on the other side. So we're going to just start to bring that leg in. Make sure the small of your back is down, belly is drawn in, and squeeze the leg in. And then we can release, and then it comes down just towards the side, just towards your rib cage. So this time now we're going to bring that left hand in, inside of the knee, outside of the foot. Arm can just rest at one side. So once we're drawing down, then we can start to take the sole of the foot up towards the ceiling. And we're just squeezing and pulling down. So encouraging a little bit more movement into the hips. Focus on your breathing, nice, smooth, calm, relaxed. Okay, and then we can stretch that leg up towards the ceiling. And either bend the leg to bring it in, or we can have that leg straight all the way down. So, and then bring the leg back in again. So, give the legs a little bit of a shake, and then I bet you know what's coming next. So, this time we're going to be bringing both our legs in. So, when you're ready, get yourself nice and comfortable. Make sure the back is firmly rooted down to the floor. And then we can just bring those legs in. We're going to squeeze them in first of all, in towards the chest. And then we can take them a little bit wider. We can start to go towards the outside, towards the edge, the sides of the ribs. And then bring that arms in. So arms in on the inside of the knees, outside of the foot. And then once we get it there, there's a tendency to bring the soles of the feet together. That's not necessarily wrong, and it'd be fine if you wanted to do that, but we're working more on taking the soles of the feet up and drawing the legs down. So once we're there, then take a few deep breaths. So once we start to get our legs and the legs moving, the hips nice and mobile, then there's a freedom which comes into the body. So if there's tightness in the legs or in the hips, we don't feel as if we can move, and we feel too rigid in ourselves. So we just need to really kind of keep the legs and the hips moving. So this is to soothe our worries away this week. Next week we are going to be looking at doing some more standing postures and standing routines. So for the moment, just enjoy yourself just in this pose. Okay, and I'm going to straighten the legs up. So take the hands back behind, straighten those legs up towards the ceiling. Then I'm going to take one leg all the way down. Other leg all the way down. Okay, bring the legs back into your crooked knee position. Take your feet out a little bit wider than the hips, like when we started. You're going to take your elbows out to the side. Your hands, if they're able to, can just kind of fall back. If you do have room, you can just take the arms straight out. Just let the legs just rock over gently from side to side. Remember, no forcing, no pushing. Just allow them to rock to wherever they comfortably go to. So your twists are always going to be great for kind of releasing any muscular tension. And clearing out any dross, any rubbish out of the body. Also bring kind of a good vitality to the body, a good bit of energy. And bring a lightness. Okay, so we're back to the center. Now, I'm going to use the wall for the next one. You can either use the front of the chair, or if you're next near the sofa, you can use the edge of the sofa as well. So on this one, I'm going to turn myself around. So I just have myself right up against the wall. Then if I lay myself down, but spin myself, so I have my legs just straight up the wall. Now from here, my hands are just going to be down by the sides. I'm going to start to bend the legs to where it feels okay. So just bending them in, and then slowly start just to roll and just to lift up. Only just up a little way. So I'm not coming all the way up, and especially not all up in one go. Now, those with serious eye problems like glaucoma, or serious ear problems, neck or shoulder problems, you might want to just stay down and just have the legs resting up the wall. Otherwise, if you have high blood pressure as well, I would suggest just coming up just a little bit, stay there for a while, okay? But otherwise, you can just kind of roll up just a little way and then rolling back down again, just so you see how that feels. See if it feels comfortable. Now the pressure does go back towards the shoulders, so it will give your shoulders one big bit of a massage. So if it's feeling really, really uncomfortable, maybe either that you need a massage soon. So bear that in mind for after the lockdown. If you have a regular practice, or doing this will give you a little bit of a massage. So then just roll up and roll down. Now you see, as you keep going, you'll start to bring yourselves up just that little bit higher each time. Now you can always take a block or two. So if you had one block in, just place that just underneath your bum and just rest there with the legs up the wall. If you wanted to have the other block in, just nearly out of reach. So I would put them kind of, if you put one in and one slightly angled, so it tips. So you've got one next to the wall, one a little bit in front. So when you sit down, it tips you kind of like up the wall a little bit. And then you can either rest there, wait until the other ones are done. So you can just hang on here for a moment. Now, for those that are going up a little bit more, and again, remember, just take it nice and steady. Do whatever you feel is right for your body. If it feels wrong, then, you know, it may be wrong. So I would just come back down and just err on the side of caution. So you can just kind of rock and just hold here for a little while. For those that want to go up, make sure the neck stays long. No unnecessary pressure on it. I'm right onto my toes. Hands can be onto my back. I can walk my feet up. Now I can rest here. That's perfectly fine. I know there is a couple of you in the class, or a few of you actually in the class, will be quite happy to get the legs away from the wall. So you can take a few breaths. And then make your way back to the wall again. Remember, not just collapsing. So feet are onto there, let the hands come down and just fully start just to relax coming down. Let the legs slide up, so we just join the others. If you've been up and had no blocks there, if you want to pop a block in now, that way we get that little tilt, that little water falling just of the or the fluid in the body. It stops kind of any puffiness around the legs. Get a lovely fresh blood flow to the head. You can even just get the ankles to rotate round just a little bit if you are suffering with any kind of puffiness in the feet. Okay, just take 3 more breaths here. After that 3rd breath, just bend the knees just a little bit. Lift up so we can slide that block out of the way. Now, if you edge yourself back a tiny bit from the wall, bring your feet down a little bit lower, take your arms out to the side, and we're just going to start to walk our feet along the wall, little tiny steps going out and to the side. So keeping that opposite shoulder down. Okay, and then we come back up, little steps again, going all the way up. And we can go over to the other side. Again, keeping the shoulders down as much as we can. And then we'll come back up. Grab hold of the legs, give them a big squeeze in. And then we can rock over. And you can just bring yourselves just back up to sitting for a moment. Grab yourselves a block to sit on. Now, after we've sat just for a few breaths, just focusing just on our breathing, we are going to either be coming down, so you're lying down on the floor, or if you prefer, you can be sat in a chair, something for relaxation. But as long as you're feeling comfortable, but not too comfortable where you're going to nod off. Right. Okay, so just going to roll the shoulders back, and we're just going to take 10 breaths here. So make sure you sat nice and tall. And then just let the hands come in. So the hands are just going to rest across the belly. Keep the lift in the chest. Keep the chin in towards the chest. Feel the length along the back of the neck. Taking long, deep breaths. So I'm going to count with the breaths. You don't have to go along with me. It helps just to kind of regulate so we all know kind of where time-wise where we're at with it. But if you want to just do your own breathing, then that's fine. Just do your own. Okay. Otherwise, I'm just going to talk through with the breaths. Inhaling. Exhaling. 1. Inhale. Exhale. 2. Inhale. Exhale. 3. Inhale. Exhale. 4. Inhale. Exhale. Five. Inhale. Exhale. 6. Inhale. Exhale. 7. Inhale. Exhale. 8. Inhale. Exhale. 9. Inhale. Exhale. And that's 10. So just softly open the eyes. Just noticing just how you feel. Softness to the body, softness to the mind. And then if you'd like to just bring yourselves to lying down. And when you're lying down, you can just have something underneath the legs or rest with your legs up on a chair. If you have a bolster or a cushion, place it underneath the legs. Okay, so just taking that time just to place yourself down onto the floor. So you feel as if you're comfortable. When you've taken a few little wriggle outs, I'm just going to pick a card for you and just to read that card out, see what we get. Oh, nice one with a little heart on the top. Okay, so the card says self-respect. You have understood your value and you radiate confidence. You inspire others to be free from all constraints or false ego. You see the soul in each one and recognize your spiritual brother or sister. So self-respect, which is nice. It's really just what we're doing here, isn't it? Just self-respect, self-love, self-care and attention. Okay, so from lying down, let's just take those words, self-respect, and what they actually mean to us. Your intention and your practice right at the beginning, about taking the time out for yourself. So just allowing this time now, just to allow yourself just to release, to let go, and to feel completely supported by the ground. So even if the legs are up on a chair, the parts of the body which we feel are on the floor, allow them just to melt down into the ground and to feel completely supported. It's almost as if the ground moves up to support the body. But it's a two-way thing, so just allow your breath just to take you into sighing out and just release that little bit more. So soft and smooth, allowing the body to rest, to recover, to restore. And take a moment just to think of the heaviness of the legs. Is there anything else in there where we can start to just focus on them, so as you exhale, they release that little bit more? And we really pay attention to it. We often are aware then just of tiny little bits that we hang on to. Maybe even round near the ankles or the knees, the thigh muscles. Or you're one of these that hold on to tension up in your hips. Or even in the buttocks, so just allowing just to release, to let go. And again, just bringing that awareness just to the back of the body, noticing if we're starting to build in any tension, or we're still able to keep nice and tension free from in the back, and keeping it as if it's melting down, feeling supported and feeling safe. Notice the head. We're still hanging on to things. Are we able to release and to let go? So we feel space inside the head. Feel the eyes sink back in the sockets. And the eyes themselves just turning and looking down towards the heart center. Even though the eyelids are closed, just think of the eyelids closing again. Skin on the cheeks soft. Softness of any sounds that are around you. Not attaching to any of them. Notice the space inside the mouth. Space for the tongue just to settle back. Softness in the throat, the back of the neck. Be aware of the top part of the chest. Do we feel the breathing there? Is it able to remain still, calm, hardly any movement at all? Notice the belly sinking back each time you exhale. Notice the solar plexus sinking back as you exhale. Allow the softness of the breath just to rest at our heart center. Center for love, compassion. So really understanding what those words mean for ourselves during this time. Having this time and this space for yourself. Love for yourself. Compassion, not only for others, but for yourself. Now again, just over 10 more breaths. allowing the body just to sink a little deeper each time. 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Body calm and relaxed. So just gently starting now just to wake the body Making some soft, just gentle movements just to ease out of the stillness. Your fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. And just bringing back your sense of your spatial awareness, sounds around you. Bring back your sense of taste, just swallow a couple of times. Open your eyes. Start to take a good stretch. You may want to accompany it with a yawn or with a sigh. So go for it. Just explore where you can maybe go with your vocals. Taking a nice big stretch and then joining me back at sitting. Once you come up to sitting, then just you can bring your hands back together. And then when you are there, just close your eyes just for a moment longer. So just bring ourselves back onto our intention, which was set at the beginning. Spending this time just solely for yourself. You can also dedicate the energy of your practice to someone you feel could do with a little bit of help right now. And then to close the session, and hands up over the crown. And slowly start to draw the hands down. That's the Untitled Chapter. Intuitive center, that center for wisdom. Vishuddha, we speak our truth and listen well. Anahata, center for love and compassion. The Manipura, which gives us our will and our drive, our determination. Svadhisthana, our ability to change when we need to. Also for new beginnings, new creations. And the Muladhara, our strength and our stability. Just bringing the hands back to the Anahata chakra. Again, that center for love and compassion. So always remembering to hold a place there for yourself. And also twins nicely with the words on the card of self-respect. You have understood your value and you radiate confidence. Thank you, ladies. Namaste. Okay. Well done, everybody who's done that. So if if you want, even if you don't even feel up to doing the video, if you do, that's great. Keep it going. If you don't, just sit there with your headphones on or something and listen to it through, and just mentally go through it. So, but thank you ever so much for joining me, and keep safe, keep well. And that is, oh, hang on, we're up there, aren't we? I'm just going to see if it can bring in self. It might not. I have to post it on there. Can you see? Self-respect. There we go. And look at that, pretty card. Okay. Right then. Thank you, ladies. Thank you very much for joining me, and I shall see you all soon. Okay.